Dear participants, we are beginning the plenary session in 5 minutes. Please take your seats and make sure that your cell phones are muted. Dear
когда доброта и надежда встречают вражду и зависть.
Уверен, мы достойно пройдем через этот трудный, рубежный период, станем еще сильнее.
Наша задача — защитить и дать развитие. Сохранить традиции и ценности.
Основная главная задача — это сделать все для того, чтобы условия были созданы для развития предпринимательства. Качество жизни было высокое на уровне.
Усилить потенциал.
Потому что самое главное богатство, подчеркиваю, не нефть, не газ, не сода, а вы, жители нашей республики.
Достичь благополучия.
Сейчас все хотят понимать, чем дышат, хотят понимать, что пьют, хотят понимать, где они могут в этом отношении отдыхать без угрозы для здоровья.
Укрепить партнерство.
Turkish business people are also interested in, investing in Bashkortostan. And as an embassy here in Moscow, we are going to work hard to bring more investment and more trade with Bashkortostan in the future.
Проявить лидерство.
Любой инновационный проект, он тем и интересен, что он выводит компанию, выводит территорию за периметр конкуренции.
Совершить невиданный прорыв.
Консолидированная воля миллионов людей – это колоссальная сила. Судьбу России мы будем определять сами и только сами ради сегодняшних и будущих поколений.
Во благо мира и процветания.
На сцену приглашаются премьер-министр правительства Республики Башкортостан Андрей Геннадьевич Назаров, председатель Совета министров Республики Каракалпакстан Фархот Уразбаевич Эрманов, генеральный консул Туркменистана в Российской Федерации Гуич Арчаевич Гараев, генеральный директор публично-правовой компании «Российский экологический оператор» Денис Петрович Буцаев, российский экономист, директор Центра региональной политики РАН-ХИКС при президенте Российской Федерации Владимир Викторович Климанов и модератор пленарного заседания, российская телеведущая, директор программ Агентства стратегических инициатив по продвижению новых проектов Эвелина Закамская. В формате видеосвязи принимает участие генеральный директор Агентства стратегических инициатив по продвижению новых проектов Светлана Витальевна Чупшева.
Добрый день, дорогие гости и участники Всероссийского инвестиционного сабантуя «Зауралье». Рада вас приветствовать. В самом начале,
Very beginning,
после вступления в должность президента Российской Федерации,
after taking his office, Vladimir Putin signed a new order in May for the national goals of development for the upcoming years.
здоровья и повышения
The key objectives of this order is to
потенциала каждого человека,
implement the potential of the individuals, bring up the patriotic attitude, create comfortable and safe environment, support health, support technological development and leadership, develop municipalities, social and economic spheres. We are the first public ground which discusses national goals, which discusses it as close to the land as possible, and we are going to discuss how this objectives will be implemented in every municipality, every region, in every corner of our vast land. It's the 6th time we are gathering here, and the forum is arranged by the initiative and involving the government of the Republic of Bashkortostan and Agency for Strategic Initiatives, which claims that the Republic of Bashkortostan and its forums are required, useful, and the discussions here are very constructive. Mr. Nazarov, I am happy to see you, and I would like to thank you for the idea of arranging such forums in small towns where people can both participate and see how our country is changing and be a part of this change. They can be involved in the economy of the region and the municipality. How are they going to change, how the region is going to change, and how the events of the Republic of Bashkortostan are going to change.
Thank you so much, Evelina, for supporting our event, the All-Russian Investment Sabantui, and you agreed to act as a moderator of our today's plenary session. It is crucial for us because all the people who have certain experience and working as journalists, certain status, high-ranking moderatorship, and usually people react to such personalities, and this makes events like this more efficient. Thank you so much again for being with us. And also I would like to say that development of Bashkortostan would have been impossible, in particular speaking about such events, large-scale events, and in quite difficult times in a remote place from the capital of Bashkortostan, and Sibay is the Trans-Urals, of course, but anyway, the infrastructure here requires additional solutions, which we're currently working on. It's been 6 years now holding events like this, but in general, I would like to say that the Agency for Strategic Investment and Svetlana Chupsheva stood at the beginning of. She was the one who promoted holding of this kind of events on an annual basis, and the goal is to promote our country and especially some small vicinities which actually serve as the basis of our country. As on a yearly basis, this is all-Russian and even international event. We have a lot of participants from abroad, just like this year, and it allows us to exchange experience, just what is happening in other states, in small regions, in small vicinities, which require special attention and support and development. So I would like to say Svetlana visited the very first event 6 years ago when we founded this forum. Now Svetlana is with us online today, but I'm sure that next time, Svetlana, when you're here, you will not recognize this area where we actually started this large-scale event many years ago, because a lot has changed for the better, and that has become possible because there is a lot of attention attracted every year, yours and of many stakeholders. It's especially important for us, Svetlana. Thank you so much. I would like to say that the agenda of our today's plenary session is governed by the paramount changes which are happening in our country. And you said it right. Vladimir Putin, in his May decree, said that the priorities and goals which we have, this is the foundation for planning of our development for the regions and for the state as a whole. And this very period, it's the beginning of this work. But I'd like to say that here in Bashkortostan we analyzed the May decree, and we see that in many areas a lot has been done already at the starting point. We don't start from scratch. I would mention 7 main areas which are covered, and we will have a priority until 2030 in the given areas, and until even 2036. Number 1, preservation of the population and maintaining help, strengthening help. We need to increase the the birth rate to 1.6% and life expectancy to 78 years. In the past 5 years, let me explain. How can we possibly increase life expectancy? We built 43 permanent healthcare facilities with a total area of 164,000 square kilometers. It means that almost every year we commission about 10 healthcare permanent facilities. They were commissioned and put to operation to improve health of our population. We bought 29 items of advanced health equipment. We expanded the manpower of healthcare professionals, and the life expectancy now is already 73.2 years. This is the breaking record, and it's quite sufficient for us. We understand the tools, we understand the means we're going to use to attain the goals which were set forward in May decree. Area number 2 is to implement potential of every person. Here, I think youth is important. About 3/4 of the young population, they are participating in professional and personal development. We have a certain base for this kind of work. We have very well-developed system of professional education. We have 8 universities, state universities, and 92 vocational schools. There are several 100,000 students studying there because there is someone we can rely on, and those young ladies and men, they will get their knowledge and they will contribute to the professional life. Number 3 is comfortable and safe environment and infrastructure. The provision of accommodation with a maximum of 33 square meters. Last year in the Republic, we commissioned a record-breaking amount, 3 million square meters of accommodation, private accommodation. And it has never been before, neither in Soviet times nor later. This is a record-breaking. This means that people are willing to live in Bashkortostan, and that the consumer activity and consumer potential is quite high. And in 5 years, we built more than 14 million square meters of accommodation. We developed 1,300 yards facilities of residential apartment buildings. We need to ensure that the hard waste is distributed, and we need to make sure that we introduce the system of separate collection of hard waste. I think you had time, Denis, we made a little tour of this area. He will talk in more detail himself. The CEO of the one of the main environmental operators, he is present here, which is quite far from Moscow. We managed to do a lot. We're not yet the leaders in terms of recycling of waste reform. We remove waste, and we have a schedule. We put to order the locations of collection. We introduced several waste separation, waste processing facilities. We have removed the landfills, which were there for dozens of years. Area number 5 is sustainable economy, and here we need to ensure the tempo of GDP higher than the average global, to increase by 60% the investment into the main capital. And the investment activity, it is growing year by year, and we achieved the history record for Bashkortostan of capital investment, more than 620 billion rubles to the permanent capital. And by 2030, we are planning to reach 1 trillion rubles of investment. A lot has been done, and many participants already heard today. They are familiar with the tools which we use. We introduced a program of promotion of investment. The state support of investment has become much easier. The paperwork was facilitated. There are only 2 documents you need to submit when you apply. We decreased the number of paperwork 6 times. The term for obtaining the results of your application, the term for review of the application has been improved significantly. You need just 30 days to obtain all the permits, including the paperwork for obtaining the land plot. We provided 17 billion of state support. Per 1 ruble of state support, we get 10 rubles of investment, 1 to 10. In my opinion, this is an absolutely highly efficient program. As a result, Bashkortostan is one of the best developed regions. Our industry grows 2 times quicker than on average in the country. We're among the top 3 in terms of implementation of policies. For 2 years, we've been in the first place. Last year, we were the 3rd, and I think that next year we will have a higher position. Agriculture is another pillar of economy. We manufactured in 5 years. The increased tempo was equal to 40%, and we, on a weekly basis, we set the new records in the 30 years period. Now, what we do, we're trying to expand the facilities for the treatment of agricultural products. Amid strict sanctions, it is important to increase the export potential. We extend our geography of foreign economic connections, and we cooperate with more than 100 states of the world. The main priority is given to friendly countries: Uzbekistan, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Turkey, China. And in these countries, the friendly ones, the trade has increased almost by 50%. Also, we pay close attention to tourism. Last year, the holidaymakers chose Bashkortostan on a regular basis, and more than 1,200 visits were made to our country. In terms of infrastructure, this is a trendy thing. It's called glamping. And 3 years ago, we had just 5 glampings. Now we have more than 100. And every year, we will commission several hundred more. Plus, we develop roadside infrastructure. The program is called 1,000 plus 1,000, which means 1,000 new roadside facilities until the end of 2024. That's our plan. And 1,000 we need to upgrade to do the revamping so that they could match all the most advanced requirements. And Prime Minister Mishustin said that our program may serve as a role model and it could be introduced in other areas. Area number 6 is technology leadership. We have new markets, and it covers unpiloted drones, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and one of the pioneers here, one of the pace setters, is the Eurasian Student Campus. This is the global level center. It was commissioned and put to operation, and we are expanding the infrastructure. Yes, last year we commissioned our student campus, inter-university student campus, and we have industrial partners. There are centers of transfer of technologies, students, entrepreneurship. I think it's a great environment for innovations, something that we need to have to move the progress forward. And I would like to say that Bashkortostan is always chosen one of the top 10 regions in terms of development in Russia. Area number 7 is digital transformation. By 2030, we will reach digital maturity of the state and municipality administration in economy and social sphere. Already we have fiber optic internet. About 3,000 facilities are connected to the internet through fiber optic lines. One of the role models here is the Center for the Development of the Republic, which is the largest in the Volga region, and it is considered one of the most cutting-edge and technologically advanced. But anyway, we're doing upgrades on a permanent basis to do it even more efficient and multifunctional. And I would like to say that it's not the limit, because there are several areas of improvement here, which, in our opinion, in general for the country, they will actually serve as pilots. Dear colleagues, I would like to say that in Bashkortostan, we work on a systematic basis in all the areas mentioned. And why we do this? We're trying to attain the national targets. All the potential we have, we prepared it, and it's important to cooperate with our partners when we see that they are quite reliable, and the presence here means that when distances are not the limit, is not an obstacle for our joint work. Bashkortostan has qualified staff, talented youth, and all the goals which were set by the president, in particular for Bashkortostan, they will be fulfilled. Bashkortostan has always been and will be a flagship of the development of economy and implementation of the targets. Well, there is a lot to do, actually. A lot has been done, but still there is a lot to do in the regions. The targets, which they are quite challenging, they are quite comprehensive, but I think that the main goal, which is set by Radi Khabirov and our management administration team, is to create Bashkortostan, make it the best region in Russia. This goal stays, and I'm sure we will attain it, and we will live in the unique region. You are welcome. Those of you who have not still moved to Bashkortostan, you are welcome to move here. And everything is recorded. So thank you so much for mentioning the Agency for Strategic Initiatives. And I mean the system of ratings. And in some of the estimates, Bashkortostan is in the leading positions moving forward in social rating, quality of life. Here you have some very good achievements. I would like to give the floor to Svetlana Chupsheva. She's online today with us. Well, I know for sure that it was your goal to be here live personally, but this time, unfortunately, it didn't work. So your agency made an oversight meeting headed by the president of the country. So the goals which were mentioned by the president, you discussed. What kind of upgrades, what kind of modifications are you planning to do in the nearest time after the oversight meeting is completed?
Good afternoon, dear Zakamskaya, dear Mr. Nazarov, dear Mr. Butsayev, dear colleagues. I am happy to greet everyone, every participant and organizer of Zauralye International Sabantuy. I remember myself and Mr. Nazarov discussing this idea, and we supported it straight away because we think that it's very important to hold events like this, to hold meetings like this, not only in capital cities of regions, but also in small towns, bring federal experts, bring our friends and partners, our investors from abroad, and show them how our country is developing, how our regions are developing, our cities, our towns, to involve people in these processes. And I'd like to say that the project is very successful. I am very happy about this opportunity for the sixth time be a part of this event and discuss strategic issues of developing the country and the Trans-Urals. Mr. Nazarov, to be frank, it's not my only visit to the forum. I visit it regularly, and I see how it's transforming. I see the projects that were presented back then and signed agreements upon. And after some time, you can see that these events have been implemented, that the social infrastructure has been erected. So, of course, it's a great result for Sibaya and Bashkortostan. It's obvious. I would like to say that the potential of the Republic of Bashkortostan is colossal. And we can conclude on this not only according to the amount of investments, but also according to the scope of production. As Mr. Nazarov has already said, the living environment has changed, has transformed. We see the infrastructure, the utilities, the facilities, which is unfolding not only in the capital city, but also in the towns. The rating of the living standards that we presented recently in the Supervisory Council, we emphasized that the dynamic of the Republic of Bashkortostan is outstanding. It's in the top 12 in the national rating. Let me remind you that in 2023, the Republic of Bashkortostan was only in the top 25. So it's a huge leap within the rating in terms of every indicator. And I guess that these indicators are related to education, environment, which is very important, security, safety, public services, job opportunities, medical care, inclusive opportunities. These are all the vectors that the Republic of Bashkortostan is showing above average results. And that's why the Republic has entered this leading rating. I would like to congratulate the team of Radi Habirov, the head of Bashkortostan, and the team of Mr. Nazarov, the Prime Minister, on your brilliant work. And I would like to congratulate people of the Republic of Bashkortostan. The investment potential keeps growing. And the Republic of Bashkortostan stands out with the positive dynamics. We know that last year the Republic of Bashkortostan was in top 4. This year the data will be announced on St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, but I must say that the opinion polls among entrepreneurs and the statistical data also indicate positive dynamics in this direction. If we talk about the strategic vectors of the agency, I must say that we also presented our results to the members of the Supervisory Council and the President, and we announced and displayed the project that we are unfolding. All of them comply with the strategic goals, strategic objectives of our country. They touch on social security, technological development, entrepreneurship, advancement, and investment climate. We have a new vector here. It's climate and environment, everything related to education and human resource training. Within all of these vectors, we are working with people, with entrepreneurs, with projects, with initiatives, and through such large events, we discover new ideas, we arrange competitions, we select the best projects to adopt because they allow to form the suggestion. It's very important for the president of our country. As Mr. Putin has already said in this report to the Supervisory Council, we have many suggestions from people which then became the foundation for the national projects. We regularly hold strategical sessions. These sessions allow us to meet business communities and people communities. We hold these meetings regularly with the Republic of Bashkortostan, where we are able to exchange experiences and listen to suggestions from the business community, from the people of Bashkortostan, and we can find out which amendments should be done at the local and federal level in terms of the legislation to make people's lives better and create the most favorable environment for investments. In our rating, we have the forum Strong Ideas, and I must say that people of the Republic of Bashkortostan are one of the most active in our country. The Republic of Bashkortostan is top 1 in terms of the number of projects and ideas offered within the forum, and top 2 in terms of the applications filed by brands displayed locally in the Republic of Bashkortostan. So I'd like to congratulate you on such a great accomplishment. Your ideas are worth of top positions, and they've become the basis for development federal and local projects, and they were reflected in the national projects. Soon they will be adopted by the government of the Russian Federation. What we are planning to do, what new projects we have coming up this year and in 6 years perspective. I mean, establishment of opportunities for families in terms of the living environment. We have many projects that focus on that focus on supporting traditional values, supporting families with many children, establishing environment to boost the birth rate. We have so many projects, especially here in Bashkortostan. Bashkortostan also offers a lot of exciting practices which we take into account when we are planning our family policies. Dynamic economy is something I already talked about at the Supervisory Council. We are now forming the new national model of improving the investment climate. Our joint task is to work together with our regions and boost the scope of investments in the major capital by improving the investment climate. We are going to extend the number of indicators that the government can assess the progress. We want regions to be compatible, not only inside the country, but also outside the country by adopting the most advanced international practices. We want our regions to be interesting, to be attractive, to be compatible, to be competitive. We want them to be open for friendly states and every entity that is ready to cooperate. We have so many projects that focus on the technological development. We also work with the Republic of Bashkortostan on that. We have a number of projects supported by the Republic of Bashkortostan and the federal level. Last time, Mr. Nazarov and Mr. Habirov were involved in the presentation of such best practices projects and technologies developed in the Republic of Bashkortostan, and I guess that we will have an increasing number of tools of both financial and non-financial support to encourage such projects. The most important thing for us so far is to support initiatives that come from people, and it is the key element in our plan until 2030. We have now a track for the international cooperation. We are ready to share standards, practices, solutions with our international partners. We hold bilateral meetings. We have a consortium of countries of the European Union where we cooperate with our partners and are working on joint approaches aimed to improve the investment climate, the living standards. Together we implement competitions. Now we have the Green Eurasia competition coming up, which has an environmental agenda. We have environmental projects. Under the BRICS summit, we will have the contest among the best promising initiatives which aim for social security, and we find it very promising, and it will facilitate the strengthening of relations between our countries. I guess it's a great foundation for us for interregional cooperation. Our colleagues share a lot of experiences of this kind, and they are very impressed of how rapidly the living standards and the investment climate is thriving. If the region has an efficient reasonable system aimed to improve the living standards and business environment, it will contribute a lot to the development of the region. Thank you very much for your attention. Next time it will be my pleasure to be a part of this event. I wish you fruitful work. I wish you good luck, success, have more interesting projects, because as I mentioned before, it's very important to year by year see an increasing number of projects with more job opportunities, more new infrastructure. I'm happy to see how the Republic of Bashkortostan and Sibaya are changing. Thank you very much. Good luck. Thank you very much, Ms. Chupsheva. Thank you, Ms. Chupsheva. I would like to say it's hard to overrate the decision of the Agency for Strategic Initiatives to hold such an event annually, and for us it's a great support. It's a great facilitation. If we didn't have such decisions, we wouldn't be able to hold this event and we would be able to reach these results. We realize that the Agency for Strategic Initiatives is facilitated by the President of the Russian Federation, and it reflects the agenda established by the President. We realize that the Agency for Strategic Initiatives is really aspiring for the key objectives that our President suggests. I am very happy that you are so kind to Bashkortostan. Bashkortostan is not only the best region to live in, it will always be the key for any beginning region, or any pioneer region. Thank you very much. What it takes to be a green leader, it's talented people who are enthusiastic, who live in the Bashkir land, who have strong ideas and trust to the government, because these ideas will be perceived, will be heard, they will be supported, and this interaction will be synergical. Ms. Chupsheva mentioned international projects. It's also a great opportunity to strengthen relations on the international arena. I'm very grateful to all the international partners here who keep persisting on their development despite of any challenges. I would like to give the floor to our guest from Turkmenistan, Guch Karayev. Thank you very much for being our partner. How do you view the development of our region? What is your perception? Soon we will have the meeting of leaders of CIS countries. So what is your opinion? What is your view?
Thank you so much. Good evening, dear participants of the plenary session. Mr. Nazarov, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to participate in the 6th All-Russian Investment Forum Sabantuy Trans-Urals, which is held at the hospitable Republic of Bashkortostan. Turkmenistan and Russian federations are close friends and neighbors based on mutual respect and mutual good and mutual flourishing and well-being of the people. The proof of it is an agreement of strategic partnership. Today, cooperation between Turkmenistan and Russian Federation is implemented in cultural, energy, fuel, humanitarian, etc. One of the priority areas of cooperation between the two countries is interregional cooperation agreements, and agreements signed between the countries gave even more impulse for the development, for the maturing of these relations. Today, Turkmenistan and its regions, together with the regions of Russia, are increasing cooperation with Bashkortostan. The main areas of cooperation are energy, chemicals, food, education, etc. Dear participants, I would like to use this opportunity to express my gratitude to the administration of the Republic to participate in Trans-Urals and being able to address with the welcome word to this audience. I wish all the best fruitful cooperation, and good mood. Thank you so much for your warm and sincere greetings. We are always happy to see guests from Turkmenistan here. Denis Butsayev, the CEO of the All-Russian Ecology Operator, who, according to Mr. Nazarov, is not by accident here. You traveled a lot today. You visited facilities which serve as role models. Please share your experience. First of all, I would like to thank you. For me, it's a very interesting venue. The investment Sabantui, I mean, what makes it interesting is that Bashkortostan belongs to the regions, to the leading regions in terms of economic and industrial growth. There are a lot of huge, important enterprises, high-tech, crude materials, and without any doubt, it should mean that the region should have, I want to be careful, some issues with the environment, environmental protection, and sustainable development, and the programs related to the protection of the environment. They are usually they compete with each other, sustainable development and environmental protection. But since the region, they began to develop the program beforehand dedicated to balanced development. So now we may say that the Bashkortostan manages, amid difficult times, including economy, to maintain a balance of economic development, which is required for any region, without any doubt, and as huge as Bashkortostan, and they managed to preserve in at quite a good technological level of the environmental protection programs in a very wide range sense of the word. And speaking about, if we speak in more detail, there are several areas and which I would like to talk in more detail. I mean the subject which is of area of my interest. We have known each other for quite a long while with Mr. Nazarov and Mr. Khabirov. More than 6 years ago, I had a different specialty. I was specializing in economy development and investment. And the facilities which I visited today, I mean, which belong to our industry, my industrial specialization, I mean, working with waste, I saw what we talked about when we were developing economy back in the day, when with OC we discussed how to make investment climate attractive. We all know that big projects, they enjoy good visualization, everyone is familiar with them, they are supported by the government and administration. The main problem with investment climate is in small and mid-scale projects. They are not very noticeable, they are not promoted, they are not famous, and their support should be done not individually but systematically, not on a one-time basis but on a regular basis. And the fact that Bashkortostan is successful here, it means that it has investment attractiveness and even investment stability. Today I visited a facility which was built in 1 year. It's the waste sorting complex. It's a greenfield project, and I understand why. The logistics, actually the reason is to have shorter logistics distance. But it has all the drawbacks which the greenfield projects normally have. No utilities, some layout, issues with layout, and etc. The colleagues managed not just to build in 1 year, but the commissioning report was signed, and now what they do, they are working on to receive the license to commission to start operations. And I visited the facility and I asked, do you need any help? And I was expecting they will say yes, but surprisingly they said no, because the licensing requirements have already been fulfilled completely. And all I have to say is that I've been working in the development of investment climate for 10 years, and I can say that it's a success. For small and mid-scale business, it's a real success. Regarding our projects, which are in scope of our responsibility, in order to start large-scale operations in terms of recycling of waste. And as the President instructed, what we do, we don't just deal with hard waste, but also agricultural waste, construction waste, etc. And what is required, of course, is infrastructure. Infrastructure of such scale, Bashkortostan is big, and you need special conditions. The investor should receive a guarantee that large capital investments will be protected. Bashkortostan, I can say quite confidently, is #1 region with such amount of investment in the form of concession into the projects dedicated to the processing of hard waste. Bashkortostan, they were brave enough to start implementing concession projects. As you understand, it's not the investor which is facing difficulties, but the public, because the opportunity, you need to be able to cover the risks associated with monetary funds, and the fact that the region is ready to share risks between the private and public sector, and this courage allowed us to find investment 15 billion rubles worth to implement 3 concession facilities. Factor number 2 is how promptly you prepare paperwork to sign a concession deal. Concession protects investment interest, but what makes it uncomfortable is the lengthy preparation. Usually it takes a couple of months to prepare a standard deal, and concession deals usually takes as long as the whole year to prepare the deal. We managed to achieve the best indexes, from 11 to 14 months, starting from the moment when we achieve agreement. In Bashkortostan, it's only 5, starting from the moment when the idea was discussed and approved, and the concession deal is signed. It takes as little as 5 months, compared to 11 to 14 months throughout the country. This means that we're talking about a professional team. The administration of the Republic managed to prepare conditions when concession deals are quick and comfortable for all the stakeholders, and starting from the formal stage of discussion. Number 3, a factor which is very important. What we see is public defense procedure of investment project. Initially, we were quite skeptical. There is a format of investment hour meeting where the head of the Republic, together with the government, reviews certain investment projects. And as I understand, all the investment projects, they are reviewed at this meeting. What are the advantages? Further on, when you implement a project, none of the administrative institution may say that we were not aware that this kind of project was accepted for implementation in the Republic. You cannot say you were not aware. Everyone is informed. And the stop factors saying that we didn't see, we don't share the conditions, and we cannot accept it for implementation. At the investment hour, everyone who might be willing to speak against, they may do so. After that, the project is upgraded, is revised, and I'm an official myself. It means that if the investment project went through the investment hour, it means that all the institutions, governmental institutions, are aware and they are informed. We know cases when the projects are discussed for years without even finalization of the conditions, which then fall, which then become the basis. And thanks to this, among other things, in the past 4 years, the Republic of Bashkortostan improved its environmental rating. The most important is, the most famous is the rating of investment attractiveness. I remember how hard it was for us to achieve high ranks in this rating. In terms of hard waste and sustainable development, several years ago, 5 years, we created green rating. It's a complex of factors which are used to assess the quality of services, involvement of population, and a lot of other parameters. When we just started this rating, Bashkortostan was among 50 regions. Last year, we gave an award to Bashkortostan because it was in the top 10. If I'm not mistaken, it was in the 7th place. With the introduction, with the commissioning, with those facilities commissioned, which I just mentioned today, which are implemented as part of concession deals, according to the data, according to my estimates, the region has a potential to go even higher in the rating. Now, briefly, what the public, our ecology operator was established under the decree of the president. We are the companies dedicated to the treatment of waste. We have about 8 billion tons of waste annually, and including 50 million, which is a household waste. Our goal is to build infrastructure to continue, which I have just mentioned. As an investment guy, I could understand that we can do it only by protecting investment and providing a financial leverage, and by making the financial resources highly available. We coped with task number 1. We introduced the protection of investment, but with the help of civil code, of the contractual relations of concessions or private and public relations. Now 90% of the projects are implemented as per the concession framework. The area of treatment of hard waste, according to Vedomosti newspaper, has become the largest industry which actively uses concessions. We have 45 concessions worth of 100 million rubles. Now we have about 70 concession deals in the regions. 70 regions with a total amount of investment over 200 million rubles. But the concession scheme wouldn't have become available if we haven't had a monetary leverage. In the current unstable conditions, not in our country, but we depend on the microeconomic instability. The key percentage rate has increased, and it influences in a negative way the infrastructural products and the mechanism which the government supported in 2022 under our initiatives. At the end of 2021, in 2022 it already worked. The government provides subsidized percentage rate. About 90% is subsidized. It means that in the given conditions we can provide loans under 6% annual percentage rate up to 12 years term. Lately we discussed with our colleagues from our other industries, classical industry and conventional industry and agriculture, we understand that this kind of APR is competitive in all the areas. And agriculture is normally subsidized, as we know from history, and it helps to attract systematic players who actively invest, and we have large financial institutions. When we just started in 2019, the loan was 0.something%. Then we came up with the initiative to use bonds, and we took them to the stock market, and we even had a discussion that the exchange mechanism, stock exchange mechanism, will make transparent allocation of funds. It will make it transparent, and the industry will become more attractive in terms of financing. All the bonds which were issued by the public law company, which are worth of 70 billion rubles, they have quotes in the stock exchange, and we have a rating. And in the industry, the exchange quotes regarding the stock exchange referring to the hard waste, they are highly volatile, and the bonds, they give quite good income after some period of time. I would like to wish, in this sense, to finish implementing all the projects and fulfill all the liabilities, to fulfill all the obligations that they have taken up. These projects implemented will influence the well-being of the region, but my request is, please carry on implementing the project of sustainable development and fulfill them just as intensively as economic projects. This will help to implement the principle which Mr. Nazarov, Mr. Khabirov have voiced many times, a region which is best for living and staying. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Andrei, very briefly, please, to stay in the time. Can you please give comment to the presentation of Denis, what it's like to serve as a trial facility for concessions, issuance of bonds? What helps you to attain result? Because from 1 year to 5 months, it's a serious breakthrough.
You're right, because Denis Betsayev is a professional manager, professional public official. In the Moscow region, it was his field of responsibility. You speak the same language. Yes, exactly. It's hard when you work with him. It's hard to be shady. You will have to speak directly and clearly. That's why we have built such effective and efficient cooperation with the environmental operator. The investment project that Mr. Betsayev mentioned, in a year or two, will bring Bashkortostan to the leading positions. Leaders for achieving target values established by the president. Yes, the plan is 2030, but we will achieve the goal 4 years earlier. Why Mr. Betsayev is here is that it's his field of expertise. He has something to tell. I would understand him if we were 4 years late, and he would be very angry with us. If he visited us, he would be very disappointed. But now he has visited our facilities and he doesn't trust our words. He has seen it all with his own eyes. So we are doing something that allows us to bring Bashkortostan to the leading position. We live in a very competitive environment, but we are sure in our powers. What is the consequence for an ordinary people? I can tell you, for ordinary people, it means the following.
Снизится объемы захоронения.
The amount of trash burials will drop significantly. If you go back to the order of Vladimir Putin, you will see that they are given in figures, and these figures directly influence the living standards of people. The trash, the waste policies
Это погрешностью, но тем не менее хорошо.
are very strict. The 96% is the target
Отходов
amount of waste processing.
можно было. Мы сейчас делаем автоматические
We are now launching automatic unmanned aerial supervision. And if you speed up the video, you'll see how any region, any area
растет по метрам.
is growing
Что называется, как знаете, как
the waste polygons. These waste polygons keep expanding meter by meter. If we do not change anything, this natural growth of polygons will be 1/3 of Holland, of the Netherlands. What do? We need to turn waste into resources. It's a very hard, very complicated process. But when Bashkortostan
существовать в рамках экономики.
starts to work within the closed cycle economy, Bashkortostan will substitute the original raw material with the recycled materials.
Например, используют композиты оригинальные.
And if now we use original composites, we can switch to composites made of recycled materials.
Башкирии
It means
инструментом для
that Bashkortostan enterprises can use stock market tools to be more sustainable. It means that we have to develop tools, develop equipment, and establish enterprises that will properly sort out and recycle the wastes. This is exactly the facilities that we are establishing under our programs. If there is a resource, even if it's recycled material, it's also always something good. Let me interrupt you for a second. What is the perfect waste reform for people? What are the categories of the waste? Like, you are an ordinary person. How do you view the waste reform? Like, I am taking trash out of my own home, and I see a certain place, the trash bin site, which looks very nicely, and it smells nice. It looks nice. I come up there, put my waste in there. I don't see any full bins. The bins are emptied on time, brought somewhere, and wherever we go, we never see a territory packed with waste. And this area can be used in the better and more efficient way. And when something is used, you can take any item and look up what this bottle is made of. And you realize that it's the recycled material. The waste that you just threw away as a few months ago is now the brand new item. This is the perfect task. We are going towards it. The culture is changing. No one is throwing trash everywhere. Now we really take care to make sure that trash is taken away on time. We make investigations why sometimes trash trucks get late. This is our task, to improve the system, to make it foolproof, to make it fault-proof. We want people never to see any trash around the trash bin area. We don't want trash bins to be full. We don't want it to stock up. That's the culture that we cultivate. That's a very nice dream, and it's very inspiring when the Prime Minister and the people are dreaming of the same thing. I wish it will come true in the nearest future in the Republic of Bashkortostan. You can be the role model. It is important to talk about the environmental agenda. It's pressing for everyone, and I would like to give the floor to another our strategic partner, the traditional partner of the Uralye Forum. I would like to give the floor to Farhod Armanov from the Republic of Uzbekistan. What is interesting for you in the Republic of Bashkortostan? How do you view it? Good evening, dear participants of the plenary session. Dear Mr. Nazarov, today we participate in this essential investment Sabantui. It's very important for us, for such region in the Uzbekistan, such as the Republic of Karakalpakstan. We are very interested in strengthening two states, in strengthening relations between two presidents, President of Uzbekistan and President of Russia. We are looking for common contacts. We are looking for something common, for mutually beneficial relations. We meet a lot. We communicate a lot. We get involved into joint investment projects. We are signing different agreements and contracts. And that's why being here in this room is a pleasure, is an honor to be a part of this essential, vital ceremony. We acknowledge the market of Bashkortostan. We are not only looking for investors, but we also want to invest in the region because we see that from Ufa to Sibay, we traveled and had a look all over the Republic, and we saw the very fertile land with a lot of promising prospects. That's why we also want to contribute to this area. Maybe we want to allocate land plots and seed crops and facilitate the food industry of Bashkortostan. We discussed so many questions about this. Soon, two heads of states will meet, and during this meeting, we will sign an agreement worth around $300 million. Our comrades operate in various regions of Russia and make them richer. The head of our administration is also here, and that's why every time, the meeting by meeting, we're strengthening our relations. And we are two parties that communicate very closely and are interested to work together. Thank you for having us here today at this wonderful event. Thank you very much for being responsive. Thank you for your involvement. I must admit that our countries indeed work very closely. Soon, two heads of regions, two heads of states will meet. So welcome to Bashkortostan. We are very happy to have you. May I add something? Mr. Armanov, I would like to say thank you because the Republic of Karakalpakstan is an autonomous republic in Uzbekistan and is very similar to Bashkortostan. The territory is very similar. Sometimes people boast about the territory, but our regions are very similar. Even the Republic of Karakalpakstan is a little bigger. You are very welcoming. Uzbekistan is very close to Bashkortostan. We've been there, and every time we visit Uzbekistan, we are always taken care of by the Republic of Karakalpakstan, which is very flattering. We are very happy to have you, Mr. Ermanov, to have you not only in Bashkortostan but in Sibay, here in the Trans-Urals, because it's a sign of special attitude and ultimate respect. The Russian Federation and the Republic of Uzbekistan are growing their friendship, are cultivating it and nourishing it, and on May 6, between May 6 and May 24th, over these 18 days, we received 7 delegations from the Republic of Uzbekistan, from 5 regions, 1 republic and 4 provinces, 1 business delegation, and 1 public official delegation. Your business community visited the Republic of Bashkortostan, and we presented to them how they can dispose the UMMC facilities. Over 18 days, we received 7 delegations. You may understand how intense these visits are. And so I would like to say that this work is mutually beneficial. When 2 heads of states will be signing the agreements, our delegation will be an active part of this event and also will be signing agreements. I wish that all subjects, all regions of the Russian Federation will cooperate with the Republic of Uzbekistan. So far, I'm convinced that under the President of the Russian Federation, we will sign around 10 different agreements with the Republic of Uzbekistan. I believe that we are still at the bottom line of our relations, and I wish all the best for the thriving relations with such a wonderful country as the Republic of Uzbekistan. People in Uzbekistan are wonderful. I am convinced that the key to success is not only geographical landscape, but also the same language, nearly the same language. And the terms that you use are very close. These are 2 Islamic regions, 2 Islamic states, which are very close in spirits. We wish you success. We would like to give the floor to the next speaker, to the scientist, to Vladimir Klimanov. I know that you've been to the venue, you got to know with it, and you are viewing how it is changing. What is your impression of Sabantui?
Thank you so much. We, the experts, we want to look at the activities of the public authorities with certain criticism. Well, does it mean that something is not working properly? No. I don't mean anything negative. We just want to give some additional appraisal. When it comes to plans and forecasts, this is something mandatory here. One of the estimates of this kind is the appraisal of the availability of resources. Now, the national goals, which are stated, they are very ambitious. And if we will be able to attain those targets, and since also there is unfriendly attitude from a whole range of the countries who introduce sanctions, and we understand that there is a certain lack of labor resources and labor performance. And I think this is something that should be discussed more actively, including financial resources. It's a very special question when it comes to strategy, how to find the required amount of assets. And we will have some changes in terms of taxation, and we will streamline the inter-budget relations. I think Bashkortostan enjoys a very special position because the potential of the Republic is not discovered fully. Indeed, we see progress, but it's not my first time in Bashkortostan, and I see that Ufa is going through very positive transformations, and these impressive progress in terms of moving up in all kinds of ratings, including quality of life, increasing quality of life, investment rating. You are among top 10 regions in terms of quality of life of the citizens. You have almost reached the top. Well, I myself is a Muscovite, is a born Muscovite. I'm afraid it's hard to catch. Well, you mean what? In terms of sunny days, Bashkortostan is far ahead. Moscow? Well, I apologize. Do you mean it's your achievement? Well, I mean to say that there are some advantages. Well, actually, the sun means that if you can see the sun, it means that the air is pure. Well, I always thought that sunny Bashkortostan is a joke, is a folklore. Well, I spent 12 years living in Moscow. I understand that there is no sun in Moscow, and it is so depressing. When I came to Bashkortostan, I would like to thank Mr. Khabirov, Radi Khabirov here. I understood that, oh my God, why did I spend 12 years living in Moscow? It's important. Please be careful, because you may get a huge migration, people moving from Moscow. 300 sunny days annually is great. You may not do any fitness, you may not do some things when you have a lot of sunny days, you may not spend too much efforts on healthcare. Well, I think you spent much efforts to make sure that you have a lot of taxpayers. Well, I don't want to criticize Moscow here. The capital of the country should also be ahead. Well, you reminded me of a funny story. Well, there is this politician, and people are criticizing, why are you criticizing this guy? In his times, there was such a great autumn. Well, of course, I would like to say that I wish Bashkortostan was a leader, not in terms of production of honey or caustic soda, caustic ash, but in some of the index, which means that there is investment attractiveness and quality of life. And, in this connection, maybe this will be a side appraisal I'm sure there will be some complexities attaining those goals which you have set, because a lot of people living in the rural area compared to other regions, which means there are a lot of expenses and a lot of obligations. There is a load on infrastructure. For example, there is such a thing, working with investors who are located outside the region again. It's a huge responsibility and a lot of work which you should do by the regional authorities. Well, I wish you to have as much success as possible. You already have it, but there is still a lot to do. Again, my remark is probably I'm as a third person, and our country is huge, and many regions, they will try to catch up. But at the same time, the regions which had an even higher leap, because many of them had disadvantageous positions at the start. And I think it will be hard for you to move further because you are quite high already. But on the other hand, the federal authorities will use you as the basis. They will rely on you. A huge region, as I understand, there are a lot of families with a lot of children, and this is highly appraised in terms of federal authorities and the initiatives which are available. There is a potential also natural resources, development and environmental agenda. There are a lot of virgin areas, specially preserved natural territories, which are valuable not only for Russian Federation, but also for the planet Earth in general. Well, there is a lot to look at and a lot to develop. Well, I think those who the requirements will be much more strict. I think if you need to attain some average values for Russia, so probably since you enjoy a high ranking, the requirements will be much stricter for you. Well, I was thinking of some kind of metaphor, and I have visited today some of the tracks which were held as part of investment Sabantui, and I understood that there is a lot I don't know about the Republic. In the session dedicated to business sheriffs and support of business, which is available, hardly anyone knows about this at the expert level, at the federal level among the experts. And I think that this idea should be promoted and developed. I saw very bright eyes of the business teams, eyes full of enthusiasm, who participated in the championship for the strategy of business management. Very active, very live people. Not just businessmen, there were also public officials participating, people who are willing to move on. And actually, it came to me as a surprise, the session dedicated to creative industries. I think here, Bashkortostan may become a leader here because a lot of creative people, not only in Ufa, as I understood, not only in other cities and regions, I think they should be supported and promoted. Well, going back to, I'm a born Muscovite myself. I've been many times to Bashkortostan and some utmost distant spots of the Republic. Well, actually, some kind of phrase came to my mind, which I want to say. Let Bashkortostan, not yet fully discovered from the point of view of massive tourism and holiday making, not yet open for many, like a terra incognita, mysterious land, let it be the region which people want to come to, would want to come to. Again, me as a born Muscovite, I think many of my friends, they pack their suitcases or backpacks, they go to some northern Caucasus or southern Siberia. They go to Bashkortostan instead with a very various offers in terms of holiday making, especially here in Sibay, in Trans-Urals. Well, your friends probably don't know about the sunny days. Well, let's keep on coming to Bashkortostan. Thank you so much about the championship of the strategy of business management. We have chosen the finalists. The finalists of the Bashkortostan Cup are the teams from Bashkir Copper team, which is represented by its staff. Let's give a round of applause. Let's congratulate the team of Variak, the team of business sheriffs. Let's give a round of applause. The teams of initiatives of growth of the investment policy Ministry of the Republic of Bashkortostan. Well, so much initiative in terms of growth. Thank you so much for mentioning, Vladimir, about families with many children, because I would like to remind you that the first goal, which was proclaimed by the president, is to maintain the birth rate. And what are we going to do about it? The demography.
I would like to add a few more things. The touristic attractiveness of Bashkortostan. You know, there is nothing better than Bashkortostan. That's first. That's it. Full stop. I guess exclamation mark. Don't be shy, yeah. That's my opinion. If we compare Bashkortostan to our neighbors, there is nobody to compare us with. Traditionally, we are compared to Tatarstan. They are our partners and rivals at the same time. We are like encouraging each other. We have 143,000 square kilometers. They have 60. They don't have that much space in the first place. 40% of our territory is covered with forests. You can't find anything like this. We are second to none. Like, you shouldn't really isolate yourself by such comparisons. Yeah, our 30% of our forests are linden forests. They are second to none. You know about our honey. It is second to none. It is the golden standard. Our territory is at the same time in Europe and in Asia. We are second to none. We have 5 climatic zones at the same time. We are second to none. We have 200 oil deposits, iron deposits, fossil deposits. Largest gold, copper, and zinc deposits. And sunny days. We have population of 4 million people. We're second to none. Yeah, that's a pro and a con at the same time, yeah. We have Shulgantash cave with the petroglyphs dated back 20,000 years ago. We're second to none. We have impeccable rafting. We are second to none. Everyone goes to Bashkortostan for rafting. We are safe and beautiful. They are hard to combine because rafting is associated with either safety or plain landscapes. We have both. You can work in oil, you can work in chemistry, you can work in mining. You can work in mechanical engineering or timber processing or agriculture. We have it all. We don't need anybody else. If you are in Bashkortostan, you will get enough. I understand that Tatarstan has no chance. Not only Tatarstan. Tatarstan are our brothers. We respect each other. We are rivals. We learn from them a lot. That's what I do is the Tatar approach. Tatar attitude. And you've been to Tatar Sabantui as well, yeah? Yeah. We should be a bit more boastful. Tatarstan is a great region. I want to say that our international partners now realize that working with Bashkortostan is a good idea. Bashkortostan and Central Asia is one of the most thriving regions. You shouldn't be distracted with anything else but focus on Bashkortostan. Seriously speaking, Bashkortostan, as you could see in the video, is people. The most important part of Bashkortostan is people. These people are second to none. And we need more people like this. So we can abandon the rational part now. We've completed our discussion and we still have a little time for emotions. I would like to give the floor to our Turkmenistan guest. What is your emotion? What do you like best about Bashkortostan? Can you please bring the mic closer? The people. The people, just it has been said before, the hospitality, the people. Yesterday I had a meeting with our students. We have over 2,000 Turkmenistan students here studying. I had a meeting with our students, and in the end of the meeting I asked, how do you like being here in Bashkortostan? And they said, we love it. This is the respect, this is the attitude, the care of Bashkortostan. Thank you for these words. Mr. Botsaev, you know I'm not going to waste time here. Mr. Nazarov has already mentioned everything. What he said to me before and is sunny days. Other things were new to me, but he has proven that Bashkortostan is the leader in everything. If it's not on top, that it will be very soon. Our colleague mentioned today that the tools, the innovations that Bashkortostan is testing as a test bench is a very useful federal agenda that will soon be used by any region in any country in terms of many industries. I work in the environmental industry and I understand how it can be applied to my area, but I also know that it can be applied to many areas. I know that Bashkortostan is running many pilot projects in industry. We talked about processing and mining processing, rock processing, recycling and upcycling of deposit development wastes. We know that Bashkortostan has discovered a number of technologies that can be import technological initiatives. It means that Bashkortostan can give us not only sunny days, but also innovation that have been already tested and proven in the region and in our country. Thank you very much. I have only one question. Are we going back to Moscow? Because you sound like you're not going to Moscow. Yeah. When Tatars ask me what I was doing, and I will say that I was here listening very carefully but wasn't applauding. Bashkortostan is similar to us. Today we witnessed the wedding rituals. And I must say that we have the same customs. I didn't find any difference. Their words, speaking in Uzbek. I wouldn't translate this because if you speak Bashkir, you understand. That's what our ancestors used to say. This is what they used to say at the wedding ritual. It is the same ritual for us and for the Bashkirs. That's why we have not only economic and landscape interests. Our ancestors used to be friends, used to be brothers. We have the same tribe. And I was surprised to find out that we have very close bonds, historical bonds. Bashkir lives in Uzbekistan and Uzbeki live in Bashkortostan. I guess it's a very natural exchange. And it denotes very strong friendship that will become even stronger.
Вы знаете, но чтобы не повторяться, я все-таки скажу.
I won't repeat what's been said, but I want to say that the natural potential hasn't been fully discovered yet in Bashkortostan.
Вот услышали, но чтобы это было доступно всем и понимаемо.
And I want it to be very understandable and clear. I would like to emphasize a few things about Bashkortostan that I found unexpected. The first thing, I was going from Ufa and I noticed how cared for Bashkortostan is. It's a rare thing sometimes to see in Russia. You may see some information signs, and here in Bashkortostan you can clearly see where you're going, what settlement you are passing by, and you will see no waste, no trash on the side of the road. It was very unexpected for me, especially for this European part of the country. I would like to emphasize one more time, strengthen one more time, is that Bashkortostan undertakes the very creative and innovative approach which will push Bashkortostan forward. Thank you very much. We wish you success and fruitful discussion, the great Sabantui. On my behalf, I would like to say that Bashkiria, it's not my first visit to Bashkiria, and Mr. Nazarov offers me to settle down here, but I must say that the most precious thing about Bashkortostan, as the director of the Agency for Strategic Initiatives, is the enthusiasm. You have very beautiful women and very beautiful kids. You never mentioned that today, but I guess it's unfair. Many initiatives, many projects, socially targeted projects are initiated by women. And recently I attended the Festival of Women's Happiness, and I was very impressed by the women who live here. The projects are very well thought through, and they're very precious, very valuable, and I am impressed by women being inspired to make their home better. It is something, Mr. Nazarov, you cannot object. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.